All right, I'm in the Santa Ventura, excuse me, the Ventura Open. I'm in the weekend round of the rookie division. Made my 99 account, playing with my T4 clubs, and we'll see if I can get the best score I've had all week with this account because I didn't play bad. You know, in this tournament, really, you need to be if you want to. If you want, I took a picture of the screen instead of writing on the screen. You really need to be minimum score. You could argue the minimum score should be minus 13. We need to pick up hole number 6. That makes this minus 26. A good round, minus 28, somewhere in that neighborhood. If you're looking for a banner, you need to be in the minus 30 range. You could be in a bracket where you can shoot a minus 28 and win, and you could be in a bracket where you can shoot a minus 28 and come in 17th or 26th. So it's just one of those deals. But if you're in the 30 range, it's not that you have a guaranteed deal, but you've put yourself in the hunt for a banner, and depending on your bracket, you could get a win. And that's just how that's playing out. So we will see in my 99 account. I've got T4 clubs, couple T5s here and there, just that I picked up in the golden shot. So we'll see how we can do. And it all starts with hole number 1. And hole number 1 would be really helpful if I could actually hit perfect into the cup. I think I made this in one-on-one. I make this all the time. And this week, I think I made it once. But I will say that I was watching videos the other day, trying to work up some notes. I'm way behind in my notes. I feel like I'm actually in the opening round as far as my notes because of the 9-hole cup. And my dog's like, who cares? So I feel like I'm a round behind. But I think I only hit 90 some odd shots. What does that work out to? 1, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Played 13 times 9. 117 holes, and I think I've hit maybe 17 into the cup. Perfect. And the other 100 were great. So you're not going to blow it up during the week if you can't get more perfect shots than that. That's just how it works. Y'all know that. All right. Hole number 1. Let's go look at it. Let's go pick some stuff. I'm not trying to get greedy on any of these holes with this account. I'm just going to lay it up in front and try and put the shot in the hole. And any of these will work. Kingfisher. I'm going to use a quasar. And I'm going to use a katana. Just puts me a little deeper into my kingfisher. And I got lots of them. Off we go into the wild blue yonder. What I need is coffee. That would be good. All right, MGA goes first. Let's check our opponent out. Let's see what they got. 19,003,000 games. Played in a bunch of tourneys. Lots of tournaments. And they're definitely trying to get on in one. The thing about this is that it's not consistent with how your bounce. Well, it's definitely not consistent when you clip the rough. When you can get on in one, I've seen some people do it this week. When you can get on in one, it's a thing of beauty, but it's too inconsistent for me. And normally it's not that big of an issue because you just hit it perfect into the cup and it goes in. But when you're not hitting perfect, when you're on one of those weeks where you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, it's not good. It's not good, Yaman. It's 2.1 per ring, so it's about a ring and a quarter. I'm going to lean a little to the right. Hitting it perfect. Getting up there in front, getting into my Kingfisher range. And my Kingfisher, where's my little cheat sheet here? Since I can never remember all of the numbers for my 99 account. My 77 and odd account have this pretty much exactly the same clubs. Few clubs here and there are a little bit different, but the accuracies are the same. Other club stats might be different, but the accuracy is the same on pretty much every club. So it's really easy. You only got to remember one set of numbers. See if we can get it in the hole. Get in the hole, ball. Go home. Go home. All right, I'm in my Kingfisher. My Kingfisher is 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 4. Let's see where we're at first. You're right at minimum club. So it's 2.4 per ring. I definitely want to be on the fairway. Or excuse me, the green. Seems like it's a little far back. It's 2.4 per ring. That leaves me 6. That's a ring and a quarter. Let's see if we can hit this shot perfect. No, evidently not. We're going to continue my great run. And that's how far I've missed that cup. I don't know how many times this week. How many times? 5, 10, 15 times? 14 times. 13 actually, because I made one. I think a perfect would have went in. Doesn't matter if you make great adjustments if you can't hit perfect. That's the deal. It's one of them weeks. Some weeks you get the bull, and some weeks the bull gets you. It's a draw. And I definitely do not want to play these shootouts. I got a hole-in-one on this hole in this account. In my main account, I'm doing the backspin shot on the green, but here I'm bouncing it over that sand trap and was able to catch a hole-in-one the other day in the opening round. All right, that was hole number 1. And I'm continuing on right where I left off in my 77 and odd account. I'm right back on the great trip. So we'll see how the round goes here. All right, hole number 2. Let's go check out hole number 2. No, I've been told never grow old. I'm going to turn my grid on because Golf Clash, Playdemic, keeps interfering with apps on my device. It's kind of funny. It's not against their terms of service to use a grid, but for some reason, the only program that I have on my device that turns my grid off is Golf Clash. I'm going to bring a Saturn. I know that my backbone has better ball guide, but I trust my Saturn. I played with it lots and lots and lots of times. Go look at that Saturn. I think at this level it's actually 2 per ring. It is. And I've done so many different. The deal is I started the week off on this hole and was just killing it. And I've actually gotten so bad at this hole that I'm lucky if I can get within 2 yards. I've regressed. It's like I got old and got Alzheimer's or something and I forgot how to play this hole. Anybody who's ever been in sports and do something, you practice something so many times, you actually start getting, you get bad at it. If you walk away for a couple weeks and you come back to it, and then all of a sudden it's almost like trying to teach your dog something. You teach your dog something and then they forget about it for a while when they transfer it from short-term memory to long-term memory. And that's exactly what I feel like. I feel like how to play this hole is lost in translation somewhere. 3.1. It's going to go right there. I move it 1.7 rings. See if we can hit this one perfect. Nope. Nope. Wouldn't be prudent. Not this juncture. 1,000 points of light, 1,000,000 points of light. I can tell you right now, though, that my teammates are killing it. I got some teammates that are firing off scores that are like, I don't even know if I was playing, if I was actually on, if I could match their scores. They're playing so good. I'm never going to be that player that wins every tournament. It's just not, it's not how I play the game. I try and figure the stuff out for myself and try and think critically about how to set these holes up and try and work the stuff for my clubs. And I encourage everybody to do that. You know, the whole goal is to put yourself in the right spot and then try and figure out what you need to do for your clubs. But this 9-hole cup and then this tournament this week have put the hurting on me. Ooh. And it's these first 3 holes in this tournament are super critical. You have to come out of these first 3 holes and you need to pick up at least 1, if not 2 in the first 3 holes. And that's been my upper developed accounts. That's been my weakness all week. Especially on my 77 account. I think I picked up 1 Albie on this hole all week. My odd accounts actually played this hole pretty good, but I'm going to play the white line. The black line. I'm going to play the black line. I'm just going to lay it up out there. I can't afford in this account to end up in the rough back because I don't have the recovery clubs to help me out. So you have to play from the fairway. It's super important. It's super important. The main thing is especially if you just started playing, or if you, let's say you just started playing or you've never really had a lot of success in the tournaments, the first step is don't worry about winning. The first step is to go out and shoot the minimum score. Put yourself in a position on every hole to try and pick a shot up. And what'll happen is you can build your confidence up because you'll start getting top 10s, top 20s, and get your ball inventory worked up a little bit. Okay, they're short shooting that about 2 rings. And they're trying to curl it around that corner, so it's going to end up in the rough. And it's luckily got out. Luckily they got out. Okay, 3-1. I'm not trying to get greedy here. I'm just trying to lay it up. Get in my sniper range. What's funny is I normally, like on drives, I like to set my shots up so that I don't have to hit perfect on my drives. I could hit a great to the left or the right, and I'm hitting a ton of perfects on my drives. But these second shots, for some reason, I'm just not on track this week, which is all right. I'll be glad for a week off, like a whole week where we don't have a tournament. It's always fun doing the walkthroughs and stuff. I like doing those walkthroughs and going through these holes and thinking about them. I doubt that we're going to get any new holes with the coronavirus going on. I doubt that they have the staffing that they've set it up. I know that they must be low because they already had the 9-hole cup we had last week was the Easter 9-hole cup, and it was at Southern Pines, and we already had a Southern Pines 9-hole cup. They've got 30 different courses, and they redid that one 9-hole cup, just renamed it. You never know on this hole what can happen. All right, my club is 1.0 per ring. I'm going to do a 10% wind adjustment. It's 3.63 rings. Six points. It's 3.63 rings. 3.56. And I got that 6.3 right there. That's absolutely perfect. 3.63 rings. And if Dale Appleby's watching, laugh, Dale. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, hitting it great. We're laughing there because we have a buddy, Hammer and Hank. I was talking to him about doing the paper numbers one day, and he uses the app, and he's like, yeah, but you missed the fractional math. And I'm like, geez, dude, are you telling me that if you could hit 3.6, if you can differentiate between 3.6 and 3.7, you're lucky. But if you can differentiate between 3.63, then you are eagle eye. You need to be flying shuttles for the United States. If it gets down to the point where it's that technical, you have to be that close that you're in that fractional math, then I might as well just quit right now because that's never going to happen. Of course, it helps when you hit it perfect and you don't, and you put a little more backspin on it. Hopefully, everybody's being safe with the coronavirus going around the world. Our numbers have gotten a little bit better as far as like how many new cases every day. We were there for a pretty steady clip at 20%. Our interest was compounding 20% per day. Now we're in the 5 to 6%, but the numbers are still like we're at such a big number now that equates out to 30 or 40,000 new cases a day. And so like everything else, the United States has always got to be number one. So we can't handle it if we're not number one. We're probably, if I did the math right, I ran an Excel program on it sometime next week, by the end of next week, beginning of the following week, we'll have more cases in the United States than the rest of the world combined. And that's not a good thing. All right, let's see what we got here. I want to use the club with the best. I need a long iron. I think I was using my B52 because it had the best ball guide. It's 80 accurate, so it's 1.6. 1.4. 1.4. Where's my B52? Yeah, I got it at 1.5, but it went. I think it went. I think I just got it up a level, so it's 1. Let me write that number down. It's 1.4 per ring. I'm doing a 20% wind adjustment. So I'm going to select the B52. Let's see what ball I was using here. I think I was using where my red lines at up there. I'm going to use a navigator. I think from the bottom of the hill, that's all I have to use. This is a super, in my opinion, even though I'm taking this shot, this is a very risky shot. If you do not use the wind ring method, I highly recommend that you do not use the shot because it really takes a really good wind adjustment. And even if you use the wind ring method, it's really risky down here at the bottom trying to hit over that sand, because if you end up in the sand, you are screwed. Hole, one and hole. Let's check our opponent out. 6,700 games. That's what I'm talking about. People always complain when they're out, and I think a lot of times what people are getting confused is they go, yeah, I was playing against some guy, and he had a, what's this guy getting? He had a backbone 10, and I've only got a, who you're playing out on the course and who you're competing against in your brackets is totally different. And so you may be competing against somebody that has much better stuff than you out here in one-on-one, but in your bracket, you're playing against people that are in a similar situation than you. Now, some of those people have been playing at that level for a long time, and they may have better stuff, and some of those people have rushed up there as fast as they can. And may not have as good as stuff, but who you're playing in your bracket's different than who you're playing in one-on-one. Divided by equals divided by 1.4. 1.9 rings. I want to be 3 rings off that transitional surface. It's 1.9 rings. Hitting it perfect. Wow, I can hit a perfect shot into the cup. Took that little break right there. It's just a little short. Just a little bit short. One of my teammates was on this hole with somebody the other day, and they were in that sand trap, and there are spots in that sand trap, if you get in it, you can't get out. There are several holes in the game that are like that, where if you end up in the sand trap, there's a hole in Southern Pines that's like that. That hole's been redesigned, and it's not as bad as it used to be, but there's several of these holes where they've got these big, deep sand traps, and you end up in that sand trap, and you can't actually get over. The only way you could do it is to turn it around and hit it back out into the fairway behind you so that you can then get up on the green. It's brutal. Brutal. I will forfeit. We will go to hole number 5. Extra good luck in the tournament. All right, hole number 5. Hole number 5, I'm going to play this more like what I play in regular one-on-one because of the clubs that I have. Let me pick my clubs first, and we'll go look at the hole. I'm going to use a QB, and I'm going to switch this over to a Guardian. None of the rest of that stuff's not going to matter. I really feel like playing it with a Marlin. I really do feel like playing it with a marlin because my chances here are pretty low. All right, I'm going to play it with the Titan. Just in case. Just for safety. Oh, I guess we should go look at it. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right hole. I never really trust myself on what the hole it is. A lot of times I think, oh yeah, it's that hole. And then I get out there and I'm like, damn, I got it wrong. All right. I'm okay with that. I really should play this with a marlin. I'm going to play it with a marlin just because my chances here of getting anything other than an eagle are pretty low. I want to get out there a little bit farther since I brought a marlin. 4-6. That's 4-6. Give it some curl. Bring it back over towards the fairway. The rough. Try and ride along that edge. Which that did not do. That'll be a good distance right there. I think a one-on-one play, when I'm playing this from the second tee, is about 300 right there. What I've been trying to do here with my, if you've got clubs that have really good ball guide and distance, the problem with my sniper here is it's only got 160 instead of, if you've got an upper developed sniper, you're at 170, 172 if it's maxed out, I think. Mine's only at 160. I don't have any distance on it at all other than it's just base distance. And it's only got like 4.5 topspin. So if you've got an upper developed one that hits 170, you need about 4.5 topspin. So I'm 10 yards short on that. So we'll go at it with the Guardian. This is my normal shot here. And if I have any problems with this will tell you how bad my week's going. That might be in the sand or the rough. Right there. I'll take that. I forgot that the Guardian in this one only has 2 topspin instead of 3.5. I should be able to chip up pretty nicely from there with my Firefly. We'll see. What are we waiting for? My opponent's got a white ball. Meant to believe. Well, they got lucky they caught that slope going down. Because I would much rather be where I'm at than up at the top of that slope. All right, still got some work to do. See if we can hit perfect. Nope. That won't go in the hole. Oh, so lucky. I offset that just a little teeny bit to the left. I was just on the left-hand edge of the cup. Just in case the wind grabbed hold, it gave me a little bit of breathing room. And it didn't look like the wind had any effect on it, but that little teeny bit of offset is the only thing that saved me there. If you can't be good, be lucky. That's the rule, right? It's a draw. This next hole is super important. You got to get an eagle on this next hole. It's part of the minimum score, and it's not by any stretch of the imagination easy. Not that it's super hard. It's just it takes, you got to set the shot up right and you got to hit it perfect. That's the deal. I'm going to pick my stuff first and then we'll go look at it. Kingmaker. Let's go look at this hole. I'm taking the blue line on this hole. It takes 3.5 backspin. And you got to hit it perfect. It takes 3.5 backspin and you got to hit it perfect. I think I have just enough backspin. How much I got here? Yes, I do. All right, that's all I need. Extra mile and a kingmaker. If you can't get it done with that, it's anything. If I don't end up on the green and I got a putt, something else in my bag will work. But it's super important that we get an eagle on this hole. This is the hole that changes the minimum score, that moves it off of 12 and raises it to 13. So it's part of the deal. I'm going to do a 10% pull, so that's 3-3. So that's a little teeny bit over a ring and a half. Put some curl on it to bring it back over to the rough. Hit it one ring great on the inside. I was going to hit it one ring great one way or the other and still get over. That's the side. If you hit it great to the left, you'll end up in the sand. But if you hit it great to the right and you left, I always leave myself 2 rings of separation between any transitional surface. If you hit perfect every single time, you don't have to do that. But the whole deal is that we don't all hit perfect every single time, and you're setting the shot up. So why wouldn't you give yourself room? So on that particular shot, if I hit it great to the right, it'll still go over there. If you hit it great to the left, in almost on all cases, it goes in the rock and it goes in the sand. Perfect is perfect. Great to the right will work. Great to the left does not work. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It's one of those situations of setting yourself up for success. I see people do it all the time where they put themselves in a position where the only thing that will help them is a perfect. They hit anything but perfect, they're screwed. If you're wondering why I didn't just run my topspin out there, is because this hole has so much movement on the green that if you run your topspin out, your topspin is now engaged with the topography on this green. And so all of those little moguls and all those little dips and all that drop and all that stuff. And so your ball guide will end up doing the snake stuff. to get up there. And once you engage this green at the top and you're rolling down it, now you're being affected by the drop. So wind may not be a factor, but the ball may go off the cup because of the drop. And so to avoid getting caught up in that and having to deal with that, you can put on one backspin and get really close to the hole. And then your ball's not going to be affected by the drop or the wind. All right, that's what we needed to get done on that hole. That at least means that we can have at least some semblance of a round. All right, hole number 7. All right, I'm going to pick my bag first. I know what hole this is too. And I definitely want to take, I got to take a long iron that has 4 backspin. I want to take the one with the best ball guide, which might be my Saturn. And it is the Saturn. Saturn it is. I'm going to take a navigator, cut the wind down. Let's go look at the hole. Let's go make sure we're looking at the right hole. Hey, get over here. Hole number 7. Okay, so the secret here, let's talk about this hole real quick. Okay, first of all, this white line that's out here is a figment of your imagination. I don't know who put this white line up here or who decided that that white line was an actual way to get up here, but they're wrong. Because even if you can get this shot to come up here and land on this lower tier, here's the cup, right? And we all know how it works. Right past the cup, it drops down and it goes like this to this part of the fairway. You're not getting up there, and you're not making that hook to get up onto the top. There's really 2 shots here. You can do a rough bump and try and get it in the hole, or you can bounce off the island. Those are really the only 2 shots. And I don't care what level you're playing out, what division you're playing out. Those are really the only 2 shots. Suppose you could do a dunk. Okay? But if you're really trying to get it in, and those are the 2 ways. And what I have found is that if you're trying, normally I don't get super aggressive on this in one-on-one because this is a whole lot of people fail on, especially when we're in headwind. And so I usually just try and lay myself up so that I'm right over in this area right here. I don't really go too much for the cup, but I'm going for the cup today. And so to get that done, I need 4 backspin, 1 left side spin. And I want my second bounce to be on the fairway. There's an area out here. I think it's the fairway. I want my second bounce to be on that. So I'm not going to have ball guide like I do on my upper developed account to lead me to the hole. So if you don't have a lot of ball guide, the tendency is to go, okay, I can get really close to it. That second bounce has got to be on that transitional surface. I can't remember if it's the fairway or the rough. I'll know it as soon as I see it. So as soon as we get out there on the hole, it'll all come back to me. 4 backspin. Let's see if we can get the hole in one here. I've gotten 1 hole in one on this hole this week, and I have been so freaking close. It's like I have scared the hell out of that hole. I'm doing a 20% wind adjustment. So it's 3.2 times 1.2 divided by 2. It's 1.9 rings. I'm going to have to snap it. Isn't it perfect? Isn't it perfect? Phone rings, running out of time. And I'm short. I was a little too much onto that. Is that the fairway that I was on or the fringe? I think it might have been the fringe. I was a little too deep onto it. I was thinking, trying to do math, phone's ringing, radio's blasting. See if my opponent can do better than me. The difference between these my lower developed account, this 99 account, and my upper developed account is not distance and not any of the rest of that stuff. The big difference between the clubs, between lower level clubs and upper level clubs, is ball guide. If you've got a grizzly in your bag, you can dial that sucker up to the hole. And my opponent is in big trouble. Big trouble. What club do they got? And they're in really big trouble. The Amazon is a great club, especially when you've got lower developed stuff, because if you get an Amazon, it's distance. There's holes that, like, hey, there's a really big chance that I'm going to end up in the rough out here in the middle of the fairway. And having that Amazon available to you, it has crap ball guide, but it's got really good backspin. And it's got excellent distance. So there's a lot of stuff that you can get done with it if you find yourself in trouble and you have it in your bag. But as a day-to-day club, it'll never be, unless it gets maxed out. And even then, there's clubs that are better. It's never a good day-to-day club to just carry around in your bag. If you got lower developed stuff, your day-to-day club is probably going to be your Malibu. It gives you the best options. All right, that was hole number 8. Hole number 9. Oh, that was hole number 7. Hole number 8. Let's go look at hole number 8. Hey, what are you barking about, Buster? You want me to play with you, huh? You're like, why are you playing golf, Daddy, instead of playing with me? All right. What we got here? I'm taking the white line. Taking the white line. And I'm going to bring... I'm going to bring a QB. I think that bag right there will work, because that B52's got the best ball guide. And I don't need very much movement on the ball. And it's got good distance. 1.4 per ring. I'm going to bring a Titan. Yeah, I really want to. I'm going to bring a Kingmaker. Yeah, I'm going to have to think about that, because there's how many Kingmakers am I going to need here? And the only reason I'm thinking about bringing a Kingmaker here instead of a Titan, Titan will work because we're not doing a lot of side spin and stuff. The only reason I'm contemplating that Kingmaker is because on the second shot, the wind adjustment down there, if I do the rough bump, the wind adjustment is so close that if you make a bad wind adjustment down there, you can easily end up in the rough, and the less wind we have, the better. I'm going to bring a Titan. Play with what you got. Hole number 8. Off we go. Curious to see how many wins our clan gets this week. We got a bunch of people that are just lighting it up. The other thing is, too, is that we're getting close to We're in season 21, season 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. We're getting close to where they're going to fill up all of the divisional brackets. And so our normal 1 1/4 sliver. Hold on 1 second. Do a little bit of an overpull. Get this perfect. It's my dog's pulling on my arm. Arr. Arr. That'll work. That will work. So we're almost to the point where we got all of the divisional brackets full for the clans. My anticipation is that when they get to season 24 is when they'll finally have it set up. So in order to fill up the Masters 3 for that division going up to the C100, they've got to have enough clans and Masters 2 to fill up some brackets in Masters 3, which means that it's usually, from what it looks like in our bracket, I think that either this month or sometime here in the next couple months, we very well could end up getting promoted to Masters 1 just from tournament play. Uh-oh. If you have a Nirvana, you can make it from there or on Amazon. When I first started playing, I used to play that with, I played this hole with an Amazon. It's 1.4, so hold on, let me do some math. 3.7 times 1.05 divided by 1.4 is 2.77 rings. Isn't it perfect? Oh, laying down flat. And I know some of you are going, yeah, but when you're in the sand, you got to push forward. No. Sometimes. If you're in one of those sand traps where it has a big lip, and when you go over that lip, it jogs, then you definitely have to push it forward. Sometimes on ones like this right here, you have to, and sometimes you don't. And I haven't been all week, and I've shot that, well, now 14 times, and I've only had twice where it did what it did right there. And the rest of the time, it's been right on. In my 77 account yesterday, I will say I switched because I was like, yeah, I switched to a backspin club, and I was actually trying to dunk it with my Grim Reaper. See if I got that in the hole. Woo! Recovered. Almost ruined my round right there. Hole number 8. The killer of people's rounds. This hole right here will eat your lunch. It's amazing to me how many people. The thing is that this hole is not. It's not that you can't get eagle on it. It's just not a high percentage eagle. You know, when you think about 100 players, if 100 players went out here and played this, how many people are going to get eagle? On a lot of these par fours, you know, the numbers are going to be, it's, you know, maybe 10, 20%. But on the flip side of that, you're probably going to have a good, if you had 20%, you're probably going to have a good 70, 75% that are going to end up with par. But that hole, birdie. But that hole right there is one of those ones that more people are going to end up with par than are going to end up with eagle. And so it's always better to be in the birdie category. because you just beat 30% of the people in your bracket just by getting a birdie on that hole. You got a bunch of people on the same track as me. I'm sure by the time this is all said and done in this bracket that somebody's going to shoot a 31. Somebody will shoot a 30 or better. I think coming into this bracket, there was a 31, a 30, a 29, a couple of people at 28. They were on fire. What are you barking about? Hole number 9. All right, this is a problematic hole with this account. And I really do need a kingmaker on this hole. This is why I was saving that kingmaker on that hole, because I really do need a kingmaker here. Really. I'm going to use a QB and use a hammerhead. I'm going to use a hammerhead for several reasons. Number one, ball guide's not bad. It's got some topspin, not too bad accurate, got some distance, it has some curl. Don't really need the backspin. It's a distance thing. I would like to bring my sniper because it's got better ball guide, but 160 versus 170, I mean, there's not much comparison there. My hammerhead's at 65. Let me see if I have my hammerhead numbers written down. It's 1.7 per ring. It would be really helpful if I actually didn't look at it, but actually switched it. Look at all those epics. That's the thing about this game is you start off, you've got commons, and then you'll play with your epics for a while when they're low level like this because they're the best clubs in the bag. Then you'll start getting your rares up and you'll play with a rare bag for a while, and then you'll finally get your commons up to level 8, 9, 10, and then you'll start playing with your commons, and then it'll go back and forth. But these epics are really cool because when they're lower level and you've got a lower level account, there's a lot of, the epics aren't bad clubs compared to what other clubs you have in your bag. Let's open our pin chest, get it rolling. I need to start playing this account just a little bit more. If I came in and played this account and I just played it during the off week and played it just a little bit, I could get these commons. I got a lot of my commons. I'm 520 short on the Rocket, 900, 880 short on the Viper, 620 short on the Backbone from maxing those clubs out, 682 on the Dart, 1143 on that one. So I've got these Tour 3 commons where if I played just a little bit, I could get those commons maxed out and I could start participating in the club card trading with a very low level account. And almost all of my games, not all of them, but the mass majority, I've probably played, I'm going to be generous and say I've played 300 games against friends. And that's really generous. It's probably only about 200. Most of the stuff that I played in this account has actually just been played 1,694 games, 904. Almost all of that's tournament stuff. So when you look at my win percentage, you go, wow, that win percentage sucks. It's because most of those, 1,400 of those games were in tournaments. And for video purposes, I forfeit shootouts. And so this account has a ton of losses due to forfeits in these tournaments. Buster. He is tearing up. My left arm is getting ate by my dog. He's like, who wants to play golf? You don't need that. You don't need the left arm. You got a stylus in your right hand. Come on. Okay. This is an absolutely pure setup shot. 3 rings off the transitional surface. I do not care about that ball guide. 3.2 rings. That ball guide does not know about this curl. The ball guide was not lying. But the ball guide doesn't know that you're going to add curl to the shot. And so if you hit the shot straight, the ball guide is telling you the truth. You're going to hit the trees. But if you add curl to it, the ball guide's not. All the ball guide was telling me was where I'm going to land. That is a pure setup shot. What are you doing, Buster? Hey, hold on a second, buddy. You got a room full of toys here, and you got to come play with me. 1.7. I'm going to do some math here as soon as I see what the wind is. Hey. And just like my opponent, I just want to limp up onto the green, put myself in a spot where I can shoot my birdie. 2.1 divided by 1.7. 1.23 rings. Don't get greedy.